Okay. To text. Ew. Right. I know the numbers are basically kind of building up at this point in time, so I'll give that a wee thingy bob. Let that happen. Right here. Right. We already got one person in. Just give it an extra 2 minutes and then we'll get cracking on with the video. I believe this is actually quite, honestly, I think it is quite good getting talking about things. So yeah, I'll give you a wee minute or two. Right, we've got one person in so far, so hopefully in about a minute. Seeing if I can get a wee delete just before we all start the video. Okay, but 15 or so seconds and then we're starting. Oh, we're definitely starting now. So, on Saturday, which was just a day ago, 12:15 p.m., Archie Battersby died. His equipment allegedly was turned off about 10 o'clock in the morning and he died at 12:15 p.m. that day. And quite rightly, during this period of time, the mother got told we can't do much more. Quite rightly, she campaigned and, got setting third and fourth opinions and going to the various courts, the European Court of Human Rights, to, that is very understandable. Actually, it was a very, very kind of you'd expect anyone to do, to be honest. And unfortunately, the boy was unable even to get transferred to hospice. The journey itself would kill him, and he was so weak because of what happened to him. He didn't last 2 hours off the life-giving equipment. Unfortunately, he died. Cause of death on the death certificate would be complications to a ligature strangulation. But we know there's something a wee bit more nefarious in this scenario, and it's a TikTok. Was it a TikTok challenge? Sorry, I got my tongue tied there. But anyway, a TikTok challenge went wrong, and even his mum had said it's a TikTok challenge that went wrong. Various people in various kind of things like Reddit were saying he was having suicidal thoughts, suicidal urges, all that stuff, but there wasn't really much to actually corroborate it. There was more, especially in browsing history, to corroborate. It was a TikTok challenge he participated in, and he ligated on rope, and unfortunately that time between him ligating and getting actual help was too much. His brain was in a state of hypoxia, a traumatic brain injury, and unfortunately there wasn't very much else that could be done. And they did have him on the life-saving equipment, but there was no progress. Now, there's been early discussions where the mother and or father are wanting to take the NHS an incredibly heavy legal battle. I don't think that's right. I just do not think it's right or fair. Actually, the NHS caused nothing. If anything, maybe NHS bought the gentleman a wee bit more time. So, do not slap the hand that feedeth. But anyway, I mean, I've had times and places where I've critiqued the NHS. I've even had to have a time where I put a complaint about the NHS. But on this occasion, they did their level best. They couldn't have done better, right? They have been patient where, things have got tortuous. They have given tries to things that weren't going to work, but they were going to give a try anyway. I strongly believe the NHS have done their level best in this situation with regard to Archie. Unfortunately, what happened? He was just too weak to come through it. Sometimes these things happen, and it's absolutely awful and painful. But it happens sometimes. It really does. It's a shame, and I feel really sorry for the Battersby family for what happened, the son dying, and that stuff. Now, if anyone's to be angry and annoyed and upset, I would strongly base it on TikTok, right? Because there's these challenges, as I mentioned in the previous video. There's another challenge where somebody was walking up a railway line in England, a place called Stockport, and they were just jogging up the tracks like nothing was wrong. And there was this big beastie intercity type train coming along, and it smacked the person. Unfortunately, she didn't exist any longer, right? But these TikTok challenges are fucking ludicrous, right? You hear like quite often, you know what I'm like in the buses, right? And quite often I hear, oh, Debbie, can I do a wee TikTok dance? Or, oh, I'm doing a wee dance for TikTok. And it's like, who's TikTok? And TikTok isn't a bad nickname for somebody, right? TikTok is a website, and a website belongs within a server. So are people saying they're doing a wee dance for an electric piece of metal that has wee flashy lights on up and down the side it? Are people really saying that? Or are they saying they're going to do a dance or a challenge for adulation upon the website? That's like love and good feelings. And to do it, I'm gonna do a wee video for TikTok, and it's like TikTok's not a person. It's essentially a server. Does that server really care if you make an arse of it or make it big or anything else? No, it doesn't, because it's a server. It's basically a massive 6 or 7 foot high bit of metal with flashing twinkly lights, it won't care what happens. And ultimately, if people are going to be doing these really dangerous TikTok challenges that could threaten their life if it goes the wrong way, does TikTok care? It doesn't. It really doesn't. Because it's not a human, it's a server. And even at the point of TikTok management level, that does have actual flesh and bone managers, TikTok doesn't care. It really doesn't. I would strongly hit out as well. You know, the people that are management and all that stuff of TikTok, they probably heard about Archie Battersea, and they probably don't give one fuck less because oh, it's it's just a website. We give them the website, and it's up to them what they do with it. Attitude, right? But I would strongly suggest if there are going to be complaints going in, then I would strongly suggest the complaints go to TikTok, not the NHS. They're fucked enough the way it is. But yeah, it's an open and shut matter with regards to if a complaint went to directly TikTok buildings about what happened and what happened to the wee guy Battersea, right? TikTok won't reply. They won't even have a temerity to reply. They just that's in their world nothing to do with them, and it's disgusting because there is a small bit of responsibility, but they're shirking it. They're just saying, "We give you a website. What you do next is up to yourselves." It's it's terrible. It really is. I mean, like if everything all stacks up, evidence like web browsing, IP, app data, all runs up to him participating in a challenge that ultimately ended his life, then there should be something TikTok are responsible for. At the moment, they're culpable. They're just not wanting to. They're not wanting to realise to themselves that they are in some portion blame responsible for that. Now, I really want to move on to something that did come through this case. Underage TikTok use. Right? When this incident happened with Archie, he was 12 years old. And the TikTok wasn't a new TikTok. It had been up for a number of months. So potentially, he was given a TikTok account at the age of 11. Who allowed this? Who allowed this? Did he sneak onto TikTok? I don't know. Somebody made if it wasn't himself, it was somebody made the account for him, and whoever did that, fuck you. I mentioned on the other video that unlike Facebook and Twitter, TikTok doesn't actually have what you call minimum age. If you a set up on Facebook, it asks you your date of birth, and if you don't put it in, it doesn't go further, which is a relatively okay thing. When it comes to TikTok profile setup, nothing. It's open sesame. And this is how a lot of under 13s are coming into TikTok. It's not like they're using a dad's TikTok or a mum's TikTok or my cousin's TikTok. There it is. And that's a terrible thing for TikTok to be doing. That boy was given an account months before this incident happened. That put an incident, he was 12, so it's easy to say he was the back end of 11 years old when he was given this profile. And this is one of the most dangerous things about TikTok, apart from the pedos, right? There's no age monitoring. Vulnerable young children are getting told to do these daft dances and absolutely chronically stupid challenges. And then, of course, as I mentioned, you get dirty old men trying to talk to under 16s, sometimes under 13s. And sometimes these dirty old men will whip out their dirty chipolata. And, when it comes to reporting, very little or nothing actually ever happens to these people. Where, if in a real street, if an old guy was walking about in his hand, guess what? He'd be eventually arrested, or he would end up having his head smashed in a cricket bat. But ultimately, it would be dealt with. It's a very dicey website between the age restriction or lack of, the dangerous challenges, the perverts, pedos, etc. on the website. It's a place I personally would not ever advise people to go to. If you want to get video, go on YouTube. That's a gold standard. That's got age restriction, admins to take things off. It's all pretty good. It really is. So, yeah, and the third part of this conversation I'm going to be talking about is the court cases. Quite rightly, mother had got involved in court cases to appeal and to reconsider, to change the thought of, because like that's her flesh and bones that's sitting in the bed. She wants to do the right thing, like any mother. And all these court cases and things like the European Court of Human Rights, that costs a lot of money, and I dread to know how much really it actually costs to host everything like that. And I hope she gets some kind of assistance with that, because I would view this to be a very genuine case to bring to these upper authorities to get reconsidered. But ultimately, they did have the facts, and they realised any further, and it would be not in the boy's interest. If they move too far forward, because the damage inside his brain, it would probably kill him going any much further. But I do understand why she went through the Court of Human Rights and the other courts to get the most up-to-date second opinion on the matter. But unfortunately, the time frame between a boy being found hypoxic and ligated and getting treatment was too long to sustain a quality of life. And unfortunately, his brain was very badly damaged through lack of oxygen, also known as hypoxia. And unfortunately, that's just what happened. And in the end, it was about having the vital life equipment on, but also having that level of comfort so he's not in agony, even if he couldn't feel it. Try and get him in as much of a pain-free environment as possible. It was a it was a tragic thing that happened, and as I say, although she's lost the cases, it was well worth actually bringing it to the table and asking in any circumstance. And I really do hope she does get financial help and assistance with this matter. It was a tragic, tragic, tragic scenario fueled by basically trends and digital social media, and that makes it even more painful. And even more painful so, TikTok will never apologise or change any of our age regulation protocol in light of this. It's sick, it's sad, and I just want to pass on my wishes to the mother and the family. It's a horrible time, and I hope within time this tragic scenario gets told to TikTok and they do start doing things like age restriction and the abolishment of all these disgusting, abhorrent challenge videos. They're not actually getting anyone, a pip on the chest or a medal in the hand. It's it's really seriously dangerous. There's nothing apart from maybe one or two likes here and there. That's all. That's all it happens. It's dangerous and it's sick. And if you even think your under 13-year-old child has a TikTok, talk to him. Have a nice laid back conversation about TikTok, and you know ask him about the TikTok. If you have a TikTok, can you see it? See if you're laid back and that stuff. You can get miles and miles far with your children on the matter, to be honest, and that's the only thing I can suggest. But when you get into your kids' phone, they show you, you know, talk to them about the dangers of TikTok and say, Betty Sue, you're only 12 years old. They don't allow you until age 13. You're going to have to come off for a little while, and get it back through a kind of laid back mechanism, and they will be able to get back on to when they turn 15 if that's going to be the case. But I'd maybe explain to them and maybe have the talk as well about what TikTok is and how it affects people and uh, all the dangers, and see if we want to still be near it. Because best chances, if you talk in a laid back and upbeat enough fashion, they'll come to a point where they actually make the decision themselves and they say, Daddy dearest, we were talking the other night about TikTok. I don't want to be on it anymore. Could you uninstall? Then that's the job done. But that's just kind of bring me to a neat wee end. And again, I just want to put out the best vibes for the family who are going through something absolutely abhorrently awful. I hope they're going to be okay, and I hope somehow the court costs and that stuff, something comes back and they're not going to be out of pocket. And with that out of pocket money that was being returned to them, I hope they have a nice holiday away where they can put what happened to Archie behind them a wee bit. I know it's not going I know it's not going to happen the full way through, etc. And that's fine because it's quite, I would say, in this circumstance, it's quite a long, complicated grieving procedure that's going to happen because this doesn't happen to a lot of people. It only happens to maybe 500 a year or something. And I would love to hear that amount of number dropping down to 50. People getting aware, people stopping, people saying no, people desisting the challenge and walking away. But as I said, this is the end of a kind of two-part series of things, and anyone that has any issues, there are things you can look up on the internet if you do find things like TikTok and you want to get more information how to go about a conversation to hopefully save a child's life in your family. So that's all I want to say, and bid you all a safe week coming up ahead, okay? Bye.